Hello everyone and welcome back to a new type of video. I'm actually going to be doing weekly where I post some games for this week's guide. So I kind of wanted to show off some actual in the wild gameplay for the decks that I am making, and I didn't want to just tack it on to the actual guide because those videos are already like 30 minutes long, and I figured no one wants to watch 30 minutes of guide, let alone 30 minutes of guide and 10 minutes of gameplay. So this one's going to be separate, and let's get started. So we are playing against Millennium for our first game, and Millennium's an interesting deck that puts up a couple of very potent disruptions, but not that many of them, which is great for us because our hand is all gas. So because our hand is all gas, we're going to find it pretty easy to pull disruptions out of them and then keep going. Interestingly, we draw Eto, which gets the Exiled Fires of Rage, because Fires of Rage is the only card they have that can actually deal with Eto. That clears the way for us to just start doing our actual Mitsurugi things, and then they negate Prayers, which would normally be a pretty good target. Unfortunately for them, Exodia's negate actually negates the activation, not the effect itself. Which means because we have two copies of Prayers in hand, we can just activate it again. The once per turn clause did not actually kick in because it never activated itself. So that means that we can just kind of go into full board. We make a Melazine here. So I mess up here because I saw the Exiled Fires of Rage active, or sorry, the Obliterate Blaze activate, and that, had it actually resolved, would have stopped his Exodia from gaining attack during the battle phase. It didn't resolve because of the weird chain that he made with it. I forget that it didn't resolve, so I go to battle and I swing with Zerol. He goes to 6,000 attack. Thankfully we survive, and we can make an Echidna to drop it back down to 0, search out Voski to tribute both of his cards, and then slap both of those two together into a Selene Snapper to blow up his Wedju Temple, which leaves him with nothing on board, and we've got a decent number of disruptions. So he goes to his turn, draws, he has two cards in hand and basically nothing else. He sees that we've got this insurmountable board basically in this situation, and he just scoops it up. So even through a actually fairly severe misplay on my part, we still just like take that one quite easily, thanks to how much extension and board breaking potential we have in this deck. And we're back with game 2, this time against Kashtira Regenesis. So this is kind of a scary deck because it can banish our stuff face down. They make some misplays here, and our hand, as you can see, is just kind of killer again. I'm gonna be honest, most hands in this deck look really good because they are. There's a reason that Mitsurugi's anticipated to be near or at the top of the metagame coming up soon. This variant is not going to be it, but it still puts out incredibly scary looking boards and hands and breaking and everything. So our opponent goes into Shangri-Ira and has a couple of extra things. I don't think this is the right board for the deck that they're playing, but they're probably just learning how to play it. Either way, that makes our job easy. They actually banish our Zerol face down, which is kind of silly because Zerol is a going first card, really, and we just don't need it, but I guess it's the one that they recognize as being scary. So anyways, we kind of just chew through their stuff, and the fact that we have 7 cards in hand now after all of their disruption should show you how this game is going. So we Wosu away the Shangri-Ira to unlock all of our spots, and then we can start doing more stuff. We get Ame out. That wipes their entire board along with getting us back a bunch of materials so that we can go into Melazine, and they've had enough, and we're not even close to finished. So that's, again, just a pretty good example of how good this deck is at breaking boards. We get through their disruption with 7 cards in hand. They need so many more disruptions than a lot of decks right now are putting out, or floodgates to stop us. It can't just be like a couple of things. And we're back with game 3, and this is going to be our going first example. Just a couple of notes here. I did at some point after this game end up taking out Wicked Butterfly because we don't really need special summoning from hand. It can be nice with the Mitsurugi stuff if we end up flooded on Mitsurugi cards specifically, but it didn't pull its weight very well, so we ended up swapping it out for like a third copy of something somewhere along the way, so don't worry about it. It isn't even very important in this game. Next up, I want to mention as we get started here how much of a pain it is to record these, because people really like to scoop or, you know, just have non-games. Why am I running into stun on Omega? I figure that's mostly a Master Duel thing, but apparently it's prevalent here too. So it's kind of a pain to get good games, but that's okay, we persevere. So the opponent has nothing here. That's not good for them because we have an incredibly potent hand. While Wosu's not really doing anything for us when we're going first, we can still set up just a gross board. As I've mentioned, this is intended to be a going second board breaker version of Mitsurugi. I find that fun, using Wosu to kaiju things, but you get the kaiju is kind of gross. But going first, we still put up a standard Ogdoadic Mitsurugi end board. We still get Zero, we still get our rituals, we got Melazine, we got negates, and so this is going to be really hard for them to fight through. Spoiler alert though, they made me go first, which is why I have this game, and they are playing Sky Striker Tenpai. So Sky Striker Tenpai is super scary because the Sky Striker cards are here to try and bait out interaction. We're not falling for it because they haven't actually done anything to us that matters yet, but because we special summon something back, they get to a Duster, we're forced to counter that. That's the first forced interaction that they get out of us. They also have a talent, they have another engage to grab an Afterburners, so they're just kind of cycling through all of the Sky Striker stuff, trying to force things out of us, and they have 2 Widow Anchors into Pydra. Unfortunately for them, we have 3 cards on our field that are unbeatable for them, so 2 Widow Anchors is not enough, should have drawn the 3rd. Zarol at this point stops them from doing any actual Tenpai shenanigans, and they just have to pass the turn back to us. At that point, we can rebuild our board like a piece of cheesecake, which means they know that it's over and they just scoop it up. So even going first, this deck puts up a really gross end board. We don't even need the hand traps to back us up when our end board is as strong as it can be. But anyways, that's going to be it for our actual games here. Just a quick little video to show off what the deck is capable of in an actual environment against real human players. I think they're humans, I don't know, maybe they're bots, I can't tell. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.